chanting. It's Friday, why not? See if anybody's gonna join me on a Friday night. No, they're not moaning, really. We'll try something different here. Actually, this is my favorite song. We're gonna chant. O Goddess, grant me a wife who will lead the family across this terrible ocean of life and death. O Goddess, grant me a wife who will lead the family across this terrible ocean of life and death. Grant us your form, grant us victory, grant us welfare, remove all hostility. Grant us your form, grant us victory, grant us welfare, remove all hostility. Grant us your form, grant us victory, grant us welfare, remove all hostility. Wait for it, it's coming. Remove all hostility. Wouldn't it be special? Would be. What love is, I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know you can show me. I know what love is. I want you to show me. But I feel what love is. I know you can show me. So I'm going to stop for now, and we're going to try going into a different mode. That's the chanting part of my show. Well, mostly it's to get rid of the hostility of the day, or the hostility of the news, or any hostility that you may feel out there towards your fellow human beings. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to another subject here. Well, actually, I do want to just do a few more things here, if I can go to the next level of my devotion here. Yeah. I have to say that what I like is to do stuff like putting out the trash. Yeah, putting out the trash. So that's today. Yesterday we put out the trash. Today they picked it up, the trash. And just to kind of look at some of my playlists for what I have after we go through the chanting exercise. I have to do that a lot lately. Politics has just gotten so crazy. Wouldn't you say so? Alright, so let's see what I have in the garbage truck industry. This one yeah, this one. Okay, we'll go with this one for now. So we get to look in here and see the trash. Friday is time to put out the trash, put out the hostility. It's crazy season with politics. And as important as politics have become, there's times you gotta brush it off. Just, you know, brush it off. Make it go away. Consciousness. We're getting rid of the consciousness. So, just to give a credit to who it belongs to, that was Krishna Das and his music. He is a Emmy award winner, and he's been chanting to his guru, which we call Maharishi in the Hinduism. But teacher, professor, there are many names, many names. So did you put your trash out this week? Does your trash come out like today, or is it coming out next week? Did you already put the trash out? Let's see here. There's a holiday coming up, so that means your trash is going to go out another day later. Yeah, this is really trash talk. Actually, this is my station. Anybody wants to hop on and comment, you're welcome to. Yeah, it's kind of a laid-back vibe. Try not to get too many dings for taking music from other people's repertoire, other people's videos. It's a pretty crazy world, and it can be very hostile at times. So the question is, how does one remain calm during a hostile world? of the Ages. I tried to come up with that one. So say you get tired of this trash talk. Call me. Come in and say hi. You know, I put this out for my family and my friends. You would think I would have some family and friends. I mean, I probably have 20. That's about how many friends you can count on. Only those with one hand. That's all you can count on. Friends, family, one hand. It's all you have to count on, one hand. And you're very lucky. Consider yourself very fortunate, as a matter of fact, if you can count everybody you know that are true, going to come to your aid on one hand. I watched a really cool video over the week called Consciousness. Now, I read this guy's book called David Hoffman. Fascinating. Not for everybody, but I thought it was fascinating. So, I highly recommend it, and I just might show some of its video on here because I have to find something else more interesting. Me. Well, maybe not so much that interesting. Anyway, let me go back to finding us another episode of Trash Talk. This was called Garbage Truck Hopper POV, Labrie Expert, MSL on heavy trash and bulk. Thank you very much. Here, let me go back so you can view what I have to look at here. Let's see here. If I move it around, oh, okay, so I'm going to have to do this. And then I can move this up and show you. Minnesota Garbage Man. Thank you. Shout out to Minnesota Garbage Man. Look him up. I'll find him for you here. Wait a minute. I have to relocate my bridge here. Here we go. Minnesota Garbage Truck. Well, you know, I don't know how people can do this for hours at a time. I can't, because what happens is I have these two dogs. They're called fur kids, and they never get past age 3, maybe 4. And they're very demanding. Right, Cinnamon? How demanding are you? They tell me when it's time for dinner. Well, you know, I mean, I got another 45 minutes before dinner, so I should be able to keep on this trek for a little bit longer. Okay, so what else is new? I know everybody wants to tell you how to... now, this guy was amazing. Dr. Ruhul Jandil. I don't know. He's Indian, I think. He's not Indian. He's... Pakistan, something like that. The new neuroscience of sleep and dreams. Check that out. It's pretty good, actually. So anyway, we shook off the garbage and we shook off the hostility, but, you know, you can always tell me whatever you want to talk about. You know? Tell me. Write it on the chat. Live chat. Talk therapy. It's all about us. Okay, so... now I'm going to have to go back to full screen so that I can go and peruse my other options here on my videos, my playlist. I don't know why I get a headache every day from all of this bright lights. What can I say? Think about if you do yoga, you know, or chant or pray, you don't have to have music and talk constantly. I have to arrange some things here on my desk. Things have kind of gotten a little bit messy. My housekeeper hasn't been here for a while. Oh wait, I'm the housekeeper. Oh yeah, we're also dealing with comedy. So don't forget, we can afford to be funny once in a while. Music, but I get banned for music, so. So, you have any questions about chanting? Okay, well, in that case, we'll go back to trash talk, I guess. I don't want any more trash talk. Hooray for Hollywood. I could chant, but I'll spare you my poor quality of sound. I have a real poor quality of sound, you know. Alright, so in that case, I'm going to go back to my home. And I'm going to find this guy here. This was 2 hours and 20 minutes. Nothing You See Is Real by Donald Hoffman. Now the reality is that we only perceive what we can see through our senses. That's all we have. We have our senses, and our senses, we know because of science, are limited. You know, our eye receptacles are limited, our hearing is limited, our everything. So his thing is that we observe life through a headset, a VR, VFR, what are those, like metaverse headsets. And so that's why you have somebody over here who is enraptured into the whole Donald Trump paradigm, and then you have someone over here who is enraptured to the whole Camacho Harris. And one group's way over here and the other group's way over here, and all we do is yell at each other and tell each other we're wrong, and that's not true. Oh yeah, I don't know, my internet's not very good here. Sorry if I'm jumping around. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I'm sorry. I tried recording this, and I'll check it out later. But it's live, so you know, you get what you get in live stream. Mostly it's shit. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Donald Trump can't still be talking. Oh, he's live at something else maybe. Moms for Liberty National Summit. Yeah, well, tune into that if you want to. If you want to take a break from that, send me a chat. Of course, I don't. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's see. Razor Rants. Is he on live right now? Let's see here. He's pretty good too. No, that was 9 hours ago. How many people like Sounds of Silence? The Discontent, or was it? Yeah, I think it's Discontent. It's pretty nice. Yeah, well, oh, here we go. 24 minutes of What Shall I Sing to You? Zen Peacemakers. All right, we'll try it. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So, I've gone to 3 of the Bearing Witness retreats now that we started organizing. And people ask me why I do it, what am I doing there? So I thought it would be wonderful to have a conversation about it that I could share with people who come sing. A lot of the people who come sing and chant with me don't have much exposure to other parts of spiritual practice. They come in through the yoga community, the asana community, and then they hear the chanting and they come. So I think that's a pretty large percentage of people who really have any other context for it other than that. And this is from outer space as far as they're concerned. They don't understand what it's about. And so I thought it would be good to share that, a little bit about the process with them in practice.
Yeah. So the first time I went to Auschwitz, it was about 22 years ago. We've been doing retreats there. This would be the 20th year that we're doing retreats. But the first time I went, about 22 years ago, I walked to Brooke and I could just feel all the spirits crying out, wanting to be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
And so right away I said, I've got to do that. I've got to come here and sit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be with those spirits. And then it struck me also very much right away that there were all kinds of spirits there, because that was a place where many Jews were killed, but gypsies and Catholics and intellectuals and gays and people with handicap, so many different kinds. And so it felt like I should try to bring as many different kinds of people there to be together and to see how we can deal with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a place where the way you dealt with differences was you killed the differences.
Right.
But to sit with each other and do that. It was only a few years ago that it struck me that another very important piece of what we now call Bearing Witness retreats is that it's a way of helping to reduce our fear. So we're taking people to places where their first reaction is fear.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go there. That's horrible, man,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And in the Buddhist tradition, the word for compassion, the Chinese word for compassion, has 2 radicals. One is compassion in the way we normally think of it, and the second means removal of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So compassion works. The Bodhisattva's work in compassion is to remove fear.
Mm-hmm.
And these Bearing Witness retreats are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had a couple of years ago in my council group, there was we did way spirits had been avoiding Jews and Poles out of fear that she was running. And in my group also was a Polish guy who lived in Krakow. And he said for 10 years he'd been thinking of coming, but he was afraid. He was afraid he would meet a German. So for all his life, he was in his 40s, he was avoiding Germans out of fear. After 4 days, they were hugging.
Yeah.
So it meant that the spectrum of life that they were now encountering was increased tremendously. It was decreased out of fear. And that's true for all of us, I think, that there's certain things that we're afraid of and we stay away. So we're not in touch with that part of life. And so bearing witness retreats have that effect. Same we do. We go live on the streets, street retreats. They're the same thing. People are afraid to live on the streets. They're afraid. And that manifests when they walk in the streets and they see a homeless person, they'll turn away. They're afraid to meet them. They're afraid to say hello. Forget about the money part. They're afraid to talk to them. And anybody who's gone on a street retreat, when they see somebody homeless, they will say, "How you doing? What's your name? How you feel?" You know, that fear is gone. Now to go beyond the fear and to celebrate in the diversity of life. That's beautiful. So when you come and you call all the hungry spirits to come and you yeah, so we all talk about the interconnectedness of life, the oneness of life. But if we look carefully at ourselves and see how many aspects of life we shy away from or won't come in contact, and then try to figure out why. And I think the biggest reason is fear.
True.
Yeah. So that's how these bearing witness retreats. But I don't know if they started because of that, but that's we're in large numbers. And,
there was. I had a lot of fear before my first retreat. I thought, how am I going to deal with this? Just the fear of going, being in that place where so much suffering happened and so much torture and so much inhumanity was manifest. So I just didn't know what was going to happen between me,
Right.
So just to go and go through the process and the practice of being in the camp, that I found very freeing from that fear that I had, just on that simple. And then to be talking about fear, how much fear there must have been in the camp at the time of the entering the war. The atmosphere was extraordinary.
Yeah. And if we just finished, we were just together in South Dakota in the Black Hills, Native American, with the Lakota folks. And the fear, the elders went to boarding schools run by the church, Catholic Church, and the fear that must have existed there, because if they spoke any Lakota, they were beaten up. If they wore any traditional clothes, they were beaten up. What I understand is now in one of those in that school, there's a track where people run around, and underneath that is graves of children that died there. So they had a reason to be afraid, but that fear permeates everywhere. That's the other reason for these bearing witness retreats is our ignorance, which I think that is most of the non-native Indians that came had no idea of what went on in our own country and what we did
And still doing.
and are still doing. And why do we have these ignorant things? Again, in a way,
So, okay there, I have stop this video in the middle of the video just because I'm picking pieces that you might be interested in or that I'm interested in. Probably more what I'm interested in because I have somebody, oh, Dird. Hello, Dird. I'm just now seeing you. I hope I didn't miss you. Dird from the Twitch stream. How are you? How are you today? Yeah, I'm good. I'm enjoying the fact that I have somebody on my stream. Yeah, I stopped the video just because I was gonna go check my phone. I left my phone down in the car. Yeah, I don't need it. But I found this video, obscured video, that is talking to an older gentleman, and they're actually interviewing this guy in Auschwitz, which is in, of course, Poland or Germany, I'm not sure. And they do a retreat and they chant. And chanting is just a way for people to get in touch with their consciousness or their spirit, kind of like that. So what brings you to Twitch? What are you looking for? You looking for a conversation with somebody? Well, I'm doing this so I could have a conversation with people, but it's kind of hard to get people to join in because I don't play games. I want some reality, if there is such a thing. And I know people just pretty much come on here because they want to be entertained. They don't want to have to think either, or talk, or say, oh, I'm doing good. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. So my question was about Auschwitz, and you saying you guessed Poland because most of the Holocaust campus was there. So I'm trying to have conversations with people. Really? Okay, Dird. Well, here's your chance. Have a conversation with me. I'm a people. I live here in California. And how about you? Is this your native language, or you're maybe trying to learn English? I don't know. Espanol? Por favor? You like politics. Oh, Dird likes politics. Well, I do too. As long as people can stay cool about them and not get all, flipped out about them. And unfortunately right now we're in a period of time where people are really triggered, you might say, with their political viewpoints. And I have my political viewpoints, and I really wish everybody agreed with me, but they don't. I can't even get my husband to agree with me, so that's part of life. We see things differently. So you speak 4 languages. That is so awesome. I wish I could speak more than just a little bit of English, a little bit of Spanish, and that's it. A little bit of Cherokee. That's some Cherokee in me. Okay, so yeah, for sure, that's why politics exists, for people to understand each other in peace. Yeah, peace would be nice. I have to say I get a little bit excited about the things that are going on in the world, and as a child I thought we should be able to live in a world of peace coexistence, but it's really not very likely, not in my lifetime. Anyway, how about you? Do you live in the United States? Wow. Okay, so you are probably in the maybe Middle East. So you speak Arabic, English, Turkish, and Kurdish. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for joining my show. Thank you for learning a little bit of English. Or maybe you have a lot of English. I don't know. I have friends, kind of friends, but acquaintances in Kurdistan and, of course, Israel. And also well, I had some friends from Lebanon once. That was a long time ago. Anyway, I am learning as well the Middle East. I'm interested in the Middle East. I mean, you know, there is the whole terrorism thing that worries all of us. And I started being aware of things back in the Desert Storm. That's how long ago I go back. A long time. So you're from Iraq, and you're learning. You speak English for 7 years now. Maybe I'm in a C2 class. C2 class. I don't know what the C2 class is. But that's awesome. Thank you. As again, I keep saying thank you, but it's just kind of good to have a conversation like this. That's what's amazing, is in the world, people around the world, and how we can have conversations just like this with strangers in different communities and maybe share ideas. But there's a lot of misrepresentation on these ideas. And DIRD 313, oh, so is the level of speaking, reading, and understanding. Okay. As I said, I grew up speaking English, but it's a very difficult language, and I still have problems with it. You end with a C2. You start with level A1. Okay, so then your English is probably very good. Yeah, I want to say my experiences with the Middle East is through a organization in Washington, D.C. called the Gold Institute of Strategic Planning. And there's people from all over the world who participate in it. And we have people who are trying to work with nations all over the world to open up conversation and be able to talk about having peace one day. Just because of your being in Iraq, and my geography on Iraq is very limited, but I hope that you're in a safe area in Iraq. Yeah, me too. Yeah. we all have to struggle with English or other languages. But I'm impressed. so impressed. I don't know if you want to, if you're interested in anything more. You're from Baghdad. Yeah, I think Baghdad's probably pretty out of any of the today, at least. You're far enough away from the hot spots, the hot zones between Iran and that area. So great. How much of Baghdad would you say has been rebuilt since the Desert Storm War? I mean, like, unfortunately, all I really have of it is when they went in there and tore down the statue of Saddam Hussein and all of that stuff going on. I'm sure it's much more peaceful now, isn't it? The 2003 war, they call it okay. So we're in the second largest economy in my Middle East, Durd says, and also when I asked him how much of the city has been rebuilt, and he's saying about 85%. And when we call it Desert Storm, they call it the 2003 war, but I can't. I'm talking about the one earlier than that. I think. Yeah. Anyway, it's awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So then, in this case, I am going to keep finding something else. Yeah, if I could look this up, let me just check something quickly. I'm going to go with the full frontal view for me for now, and then I'm going to look into the. Yeah, I think it was in the 90s when I'm talking about that war. Wow. So you play a lot of video games? I bet you do play a lot of video games. Yeah. They call it the Gulf War. And that was between 1990 and 1991. And you know what's really kind of interesting? You like politics. I'm sorry if I'm not really talking much about politics, but I have to say that the thing is that they are using a lot of the same equipment from back then in the war in Russia. Anyway. I don't want to talk about wars. I want to talk about happy things. So are you going to college? I wonder if you're going to college. Third, I'm still laughing about how they thought we have weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, you know, that's a play on words, and they use that very well, and I see that happening now on everything else that we're being told a lot of things. You have to be very careful because it is a play on word. You know, weapons of mass destruction was kind of like, we were so naive. I was so naive back then that I immediately believed that that meant that they had, you know, nuclear weapons or something like that. But, you know, even sarin gases that kill people, that's, you know, against the whatever convention. I'm over my head here. But anyway, you know, they could consider that as weapons of mass destruction. So you're going to be a lawyer next year. That is way cool. Thank you. You are way cool. Dirk. The laugh, I mean, being a lawyer in your country must give you a lot of opportunities, and I hope you do it for good. Yeah, I have a daughter-in-law who's a lawyer. Oh, no, she's my stepdaughter. She's a lawyer. Well, I have 2 stepdaughters who are lawyers. I have a lot of lawyers in my family. Yeah, they use mustard gas. Yeah, true. And so that was the thing that really triggered a lot of people who were very angry, because there was gassing people. Not cool. Not cool. But anyway, a lawyer. So what is your? I'm so interested in what is your specialty in law going to be? I mean, I think that you probably have a lot of different specialties that people like to go into. There's international. There's well, here in the States, there's a bazillion different specialties. So my one stepdaughter is into real estate law, for instance. Yeah, international law. That's awesome. For international law, I wish you well. What an accomplishment. So do you see me buffering at all? I mean, on this stream, because I keep getting these things telling me that I'm being, you know, my video is too low, so I can't tell when you're doing this. Yeah, so I'm gonna go on to the rest of my show. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is awesome that you're interested in politics. So tell me a little bit on how you're, you know, without getting into any kind of controversy, because of people see things so differently between the two. When I was a kid, I used to be I had friends that were belly dancers. And I had dated some musicians that did, you know, that played the different things. And I met a man from Lebanon who was he played one of the guitars. It's not a guitar, but nice people. But then he had to go back, and I lost track of him, and that was so long ago. Do you play any musical instruments? Okay, thank you. I'm not buffering. That's a good thing. Yeah. I'm also on
YouTube, but I don't get anybody on YouTube. So this is probably a good way to practice talking English to someone who's not interested in trying to sell their bodies. You play sports? Let me guess. Soccer? No. What's some other things that you play there? Rugby? I don't know sports. I'm sorry. I used to do a lot of football as a kid, and then my first, I watched all the football games. I like basketball too. But after we lost Kobe Bryant, I was kind of sad. I lost my interest in Kobe Bryant, in the basketball. The Lakers had a tough time back in after Kobe Bryant was killed. You play MMA. All right. I don't know about mixed emotional arts. Is that a true sport? Mixed motion art. Okay, that's different. I was gonna say, I'm supposed to be a therapist, but I could do mixed emotional sports myself. Autocorrect. It's okay. Anyway. Yeah, I have to look that up because I have no idea what that is. Mixed motion art. Because usually when we say it's like a martial arts, I have a friend who's an MMA. It was like martial arts. Is that martial arts? All right. I bet you that's what it is. I don't know. So then, Dird, you say, well, I know it by the name MMA, and what the meaning I know is mixed motion art. Well, is it something that you use, is it a team sport or is it an individual sport? I mean, I think if it's like a martial art, it would be a individual sport where you compete with other people in your class. Let's see here. So this is what I'm calling when I say it's martial arts. It's like this. Yeah, right. So I don't have the Twitch account up, but what I'm saying here is interesting. It's interesting because we call it martial arts, but you're calling it motion arts. So that's what it is. Well, you have to be very fit to do this. My best friend is also into karate, and he's been doing it for a long time. He goes through a lot of well, actually, I think he goes to I think it's Korea. It's either Korea or Taiwan. Yes. When I was a kid, I played karate for 3 months. I didn't like it because it wasn't kickboxing, or it wasn't like boxing. Right. Well, that's going to be pretty tough. And when I played boxing, it was not that much fun for me. Okay, well, let's see. Have you ever heard of Tyrus? He's a wrestler, though. He's kind of funny. He's with the WWE, which is totally different. And then there's also Connor. Yeah, he was the bad dude on. He was the Irishman. Yeah, he was a bad guy. I kind of got into it a little bit then, but then as I said, I'm not much into the sports. So how long have you been in MMA? That's quite a story. What was that guy's name? I have to find him now. What is his name? Oh, McGregor, that's what it was. Conor McGregor. Yeah, this guy. He was, I think he's a boxer. Yeah. He was a lightweight. Trying to get a picture of him. Yeah. Anyway, I could just show you this one. This is a conglomeration of it. $6 years. I think you might have told me that. Sorry about that if I didn't catch it right off. Yeah. Yeah, that's how much I know. Not much. Sorry. You don't like, Dirt does not like Connor. Yeah, I know, he's an asshole. Nobody likes him. I don't know. He was rather entertaining for a while. But he's not a very nice guy. That's right. And I don't blame you there. Yeah, he wasn't a very nice guy. He is always in trouble. He drank too much. Okay, so let's see, I'm missing out him. I know him. We have an Iraqi fighter in the UFC. His name is Amir Al-Abzar. I know I'm butchering the names. I'm sorry. Amir Al-Bazari. But who is that? And then he also said that you know Majan Lopez. Okay, I'm going to look him up. I don't know these names, but I'm going to look it up so that we can continue our conversation. Mijain. Lopez. He's from Cuba. Yeah. That would be Mijain Lopez from Cuba. You know him? Huh. That's interesting. Let's see, I'm going to look up the other guy you mentioned here. Amir Abzali, M-E-E-R. Isn't the internet amazing? It's so bad that they use it for bad things. He's playing in the flyweight. Emir Al-Bazi. Do this again. Okay, so here he is. Let's see here. The Prince. Okay. There you go. Looks kind of rough, huh? So is it, would you say you you know, I think that in most people they would say you respect the man, you know, Amir. You respect him because you know him. You know, we here we say nice people. Well, of course, that's a term. I don't even know if you have such a term like that. Maybe not. Especially men. Men don't really say, oh yeah, he's a nice, well, I guess they do say he's a nice guy. And you don't say, he's a bad guy. We use other terms in our language. I'm sure that's what you want to learn too. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to have to go make my dogs their dinner. It's dinner time here. What time is it there? It's not dinner time there, I'm sure. He plays good, yeah. He's competitive, and he's a good guy. And he plays fair. I mean, of course, you have rules, and you want people to play fair. Some people don't play fair, like Connor. You know, he's kind of plays dirty, I guess. So I am going to have to end my show, but it has been very nice to talk to you, Dird. And I'm going to have to use another term here. Well, I wish you had a website. Do you have a website? I don't know if you do or don't. Do you stream? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, as I said, I wish you really good luck in all of your endeavors. You sound like an amazing person. And I'm going to finish this talk with the Krishna Das. And go make dinner for my family.
I think it's fear. We don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because, so it's fear, it's guilt, but we don't want to know. So we try to stay away. So what I found for myself, maybe about 25 years ago, actually, that I was in a place that in my practice, I needed to go to places where I didn't want to know what was going on, where I felt I had to stay away, where I was afraid of it.
Yeah.
And so those are the places I went. You know, in the old Buddhist traditions in India and Tibet, they had what they called charnel practices. You would go to the cemeteries and sit with the spirits that are coming in.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing.
Yeah.
And a way of dealing with our own insecurity, our own fears, our own wanting to be ignorant of certain things, and not really grasping that that means that we are not connecting with all of that which is us. I mean, we're all one, we're all interconnected. So if we're staying away from a large part, or the way we're staying away from a large part of ourselves, then there has to be practices to bring those connections. And then I also feel very strongly that there's got to be practices that celebrate that. And those are bhakti practices, and chanting practices. I mean, there's many practices to do that, but I think they take on another significance if it's also linked with bringing in the shadow or the places we don't want to know about, we don't want to touch.
Sure.
So we make a good duo, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are very attached to the way they live. Like,
third